Josh Broda, how you doing, man?
Good, buddy. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, you bet. So, restaurants, the restaurant life you started out, I know, we're just going to jump into it, I guess.
Sure.
Well, let's talk about how we met. We met probably 3 months ago.
3 months or so, yeah.
Yeah.
Months ago, yeah.
And we were introduced by a mutual friend, Randy. From Safe Logic, and she recommended us for marketing stuff, and this is kind of where we're at now. I kind of got to know you a little bit on the golf course, which was fun golfing with you.
Right, and that last time you taught me a lesson, so thank you.
What was that?
Dude, you smoked me. You were playing lights out, man.
That never happens. I know it was into the season. I was feeling it.
Yeah.
I had played golf a lot.
You did.
You probably were working more than me, potentially.
I had 2 months of golf this year, September and October.
Okay, yeah, well, it was a nice end of the season, but we had a good time chatting, and obviously we hit it off. We're going to help a couple of your businesses with marketing stuff, but I just wanted to get you on the podcast to kind of chat it up a little bit, learn more about you, and sort of maybe we could get some clips or some reels from this that we can share with other people. And there's a lot of actually young people that listen to the podcast, that are just out of high school or fresh in college, and a lot of those guys are looking to do what you did, like start a business or get involved, invest. So I guess we'll just jump in with I know part of your story, like from construction in Florida to owning 2 of the top restaurants in Wasilla easily, and potentially in all of Alaska. How did you make that jump from Florida up to Alaska, and what did that sort of look like for you?
It was more, and thank you, yeah, we reached out. I'll say we were connected as an SOS. We had a little bit of a dumpster fire before that.
You and I did, yeah. You and I had got connected,
yes. Yeah. So I'm happy that we were able to get connected, and I think that I'm super excited to be part of Orange Slice and working together with you guys.
The universe has a funny way of connecting people, doesn't it?
Right.
I mean, from Randy, who connected us, we happened to move into the same office space as her, and we're neighbors for years.
Right.
Getting to know her, and she obviously liked us and trusted us, and enough to recommend us to you. Yeah, it's been. I've always felt that way about just employees, or just the way life goes in general. Like the universe kind of has its own way of sort of weaving us into these areas, and even the bad stuff. On the other side of that, you get some good stuff. So
I think if you're open to it and you do keep doing the next right indicated action step, whatever that looks like, it seems to the universe will present you with the right opportunities at the right time.
Yeah, pay attention to the green lights.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, so grew up in Fairbanks, and let's see. I graduated from Lathrop. So if there's any of you Lathrop alums,
shout out.
Shout out class of 2000.
Fairbanks is the worst in terms of weather. It's like, how do you survive that? I'm always impressed when people are from Fairbanks.
I'm impressed that my folks have lived there. They just celebrated 50 years in Fairbanks. Well, 50 years in Alaska. They moved to Delta right after college. In 76, they drove the Alcan with a Pinto and 2 dogs and 1 cat. And it had to look like, I always feel like it had to look like the Beverly Hillbillies moving up to Alaska.
Like a kennel on top of the Pinto with the dog in it.
Yeah, it had to be.
That's hilarious. Maybe we'll have them on at some point to talk about this trip up.
There's some funny stories. My dad talks about falling asleep when my mom was driving, and that's when the Alcan had to be, my mom's full send with the Pinto, which, as we all learned later, had the gas tank in the back that was the exploding gas tank.
Oh, that one. I remember that from when I was a kid. Yeah, the exploding gas tank.
So luckily, the Pinto held up, or I wouldn't be here.
Perfect.
There's that universe, right?
Yeah, right.
So, I guess growing up, that's all I knew. I knew that other places had like different weather, but growing up in that, it was just like it was what it was. But now, would I ever go back for the winters? I'm good for like 2 days. I fly in on a Friday night and I'm leaving Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Summers are great, but I did a year of college up at UAF, and I was on the ski team up there, and that was kind of what I did all growing up. I was on
cross-country skiing?
Cross-country skiing,
wow.
Yep. My mom thought hockey was too violent. I would have been a good hockey player, Mom. Could have stayed out of trouble.
Definitely more violent than cross-country skiing, yes. I would say.
It would have been a good outlet for a young man like myself with a lot of...
It does. It's...
aggressive tendencies.
100%. Yeah, like growing up. I mean, I played hockey growing up.
Right.
So I can say, looking back, like, there's a lot of boys and men, young men that need to have an outlet for that. And hockey is a big one. Football is another one, where you can have that outlet. And then MMA, if you want to get into real punching in the face all the time. But yeah, I do appreciate a little violence in the sport for sure.
Yeah. All my friends were the hockey players, it seemed like, and so I was the dorky cross-country skier. But so I did that, and I was fairly successful. Was on the junior national team for all 4 years of high school and did that kind of stuff because I got some cool opportunities to travel around the States and did some skiing in Norway and Sweden a couple times, which was a sweet opportunity. But I had a buddy that was moving to Florida, and I was like, get me out of Alaska. And I looked, on a map, you're like, that's as far as you can go.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. It's about as far from Fairbanks as you could possibly go in the United States.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I went to school for 8 years, and I'm not a doctor. School is funny. They want you to show up to class. It's a weird thing that they want, I thought you could just show up and take the tests because I was good at that. But,
yeah, if you're smart enough, you should be able to just pass the test and be good.
So
there's a part of your grade that goes into just attendance.
Silly. So I kind of was, finding my way through life, we'll say, and ended up in the construction trade because low barriers to entry, pick up a rock, move rock. Kind of thing. Yeah. Man, I remember busting up. The first guy I worked for did a lot of renovations for like nice higher end homes, and busting up a pool deck and everything at 96 degrees, and moving that was a lot of fun. So a lot of grunt work. Yeah. Did some roofing for a while after the hurricanes for a guy. That same contractor's like, we don't do roofs. That's all contracted out. Hurricane Charlie came through, I think it was 2004, and we were roofers.
Now we're roofers.
Yeah,
because that's all anybody needed.
Yeah. I think I've always enjoyed working with my hands, being able, unfortunately now, a lot of my job, as you probably know, it's a lot of more that computer type work stuff that we don't enjoy as much that you have to do. Yeah. But I enjoy being, the physical part of it. So I never wanted to, so anyway, that sort of spoke to me, I guess. And then in 2008, I had been working construction for a while. We did windows and doors for a lot of those paint by number homes that were in Florida going up all over the place before the subprime
crisis
market.
Yeah, before 2008-ish.
Yeah. And I always wondered, I remember going to these homes, and I didn't know anything about finance back then, but I just remember, I'm like, how are all these people with 14 kids and 3 cars in the driveway affording, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, well, turns out
now we know.
They were the ones doing stuff wrong.
Yeah. So saw the writing on the wall that companies started to downsize, and I had to start laying off some guys. And there was a chef that I knew, and he had a cool little restaurant. And I said, "Hey, I want to go work for you." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "I can't pay you what you get in construction." And I understood that. And
What kind of food?
it's a steak and seafood house.
Okay.
It was kind of cool. I remember eventually I would get to, I was a sous chef there, and then you'd order your fresh fish every day for the next day, and fresh produce for the day. It was everything was fresh. Yeah,
Unlike Alaska.
Fresh produce. Ish.
Yeah, fresh-ish.
Yeah. So that was a cool opportunity to cut my teeth in there, and I just I started, make $11 an hour is how I started in this industry. Which I guess is a cool way to share my story with some of my staff that I have now. It's like, look, dude, I started right where you are. This was not a overnight success, and as you know, we're 3 years into a new business, and it's successful in its own right, but we're still young. I'm not ready to retire.
Yeah, right. Not getting rich.
No, not yet.
When did you know you wanted to start your own restaurant, and how did that come about?
It's so funny. This might be a theme of our podcast here, the universe.
The universe.
Right? I've been a chef at hotels and sort of smaller establishments, did the big hotel type thing. And my last job, I was the executive chef on J Bear. The contract was through the military. Had 7 different outlets that we oversaw. I don't know how many staff, 100 some staff plus all the military people, and then the ever-changing leadership structure above me. It was a cool opportunity. I learned a lot about the politics of the military side of things, which I never would have been able to experience otherwise as a civilian. So, but by then I was like, man, what am I going to do? I can go get another job at another hotel. I can go do the corporate thing. I'm like, none of it really spoke to me. Mm-hmm. And I had seen the corporate leadership, and those guys looked rough. Maybe they're making a lot of money or good money.
Yeah, mid-6 figures.
Right,
yeah.
But their travel schedule, never home with their kids or family, and it just sounded, you could see the toll it took on them. And like that, I just inherently knew that was not what I wanted. But I didn't know what I wanted. And my partner, Andrew, we were riding out to the valley one day and with some other buddies going fishing, and he's a commercial real estate broker, and ever the salesman. It was like, "Hey, you want to buy a restaurant?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "No, there's this really cool restaurant out in the valley." And I'm like, at the time I'm living in Anchorage, I'm going, "What? No, there's no cool restaurants in the valley. What is that? Hillbillies?"
Yeah. No offense to any Valley people.
I'm a Valley Wassilian now.
Yes, as am I. Or I was.
Right, you grew up there.
Yeah. I raised my family.
You raised your family there.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. In my neck of the woods,
yep.
KGB.
KGB, yeah.
So it took him a couple weeks to convince me, and he said, "Look, go out to the valley, tell me when you're going out there, I'll send you the NDA to this property." And it was Settlers Bay Lodge. And I went out there on a Tuesday afternoon in July, and I was like, oh, this is not just a restaurant. This is like,
It's an institution.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being a golfer, I had driven by it 100 times, never even marketing.
Yeah.
I knew where the golf course was.
They could have used some for sure. Yeah. Because, a lot of people drive by that location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it was there or hadn't paid attention to it. So cut to March of 2019, and we wrapped up and closed on the restaurant, wrapped up that deal. And I remember when we took it over, Sony and Hans Schabowski were the previous owners who we bought it from, who also coincidentally were the owners before the group that we bought it from, the hotel and chop house from. They owned the hotel.
Oh, they owned the other restaurant at some point before you guys bought it.
And the hotel,
Interesting.
And they retired from that in the early to mid 90s, I think.
And then they bought Settlers?
They retired, went to Florida, and then Chuck Spinelli had purchased Settlers. Not his,
Restaurant,
not his gig. He's a construction guy.
Yeah, he's a home builder.
Right. And so he called Sony and Hans and said, hey, I could use some help. And they said, well, we don't do partners, but if you own or finance it, we'll think about it. So they got it for dirt cheap. And Hans told me they paid him off like 2 years later, gave him all the cash. And sorry, Chuck, if you're listening, if this is wrong, this is just stories, Valley stories. I think he was shocked because he couldn't, he
couldn't turn a profit.
Right.
Yeah.
And they handed him 30-year note in 2 years and said, thank you, bye.
Holy cows.
Yeah.
He must have been like, what did they figure out that I didn't know?
Yeah.
But these are restaurant people, and
Right.
Chuck was not a restaurant person.
No.
Which is like one thing you hear a lot from people who do own restaurants is like, you never want to own a restaurant.
No, you don't. If you're listening to this, I used to have luxurious hair like Seth 3 years ago. It all left.
But you guys started right before the pandemic, so how did you get through that? You bought a restaurant, and then it goes right into the pandemic.
Dude, it was like, we were open a week shy of a year. We had owned it, and then Dunleavy cut off all indoor dining and shut it down, and we furloughed all of our staff. Chef Nate and Maddie, my GM at the time, the three of us stayed on and kept it open, kept the doors open.
You guys rocked that to-go food, huh?
Just to-go food.
Yeah.
And the community out there, if we were in Anchorage or another location, we would not have done as well because, the tremendous amount of support from the community. The folks who would pick up were often picking up a burger and would leave $100 for the staff, frequently. A couple times a week, the same people even, which was super cool for the staff, because I was paying Nate and Maddie, and they were also, they had to take pay cuts actually. I during that time, it was like, hey, but we were paying some dishwashers under the table, just like
just to keep it going.
Yeah. So we paid taxes on that.
So has since you guys took over what has changed at Settlers Bay? What can people expect when they go there, menu wise? If nobody's ever been there, I guess.
Right.
So how would you explain it?
It's it's an American style food.
Like seafood steaks.
Seafood steak, kind of steak. It was sort of the steakhouse, I think, vibe. When we took over, still still sell a ton of ribeyes, fillets, New Yorks all the time. That's a staple on the menu. But it has a little bit of everything. Burgers. We have some Asian-inspired dishes. Of course, the pastas. A little bit of stuff for everybody. All made in house. It's a scratch kitchen, so
yeah, everything's delicious. Every time I eat out there, it's so good. And then also there's the banquet rooms. It's a huge space for corporate events, for weddings. It's an amazing space that I think is underutilized, probably, especially by Anchoragites.
I think it totally, and it's not that far. There's I think people, and you and I maybe have talked about this. People drive regularly out to Girdwood for the similar type experience.
Yeah, from the Muskie or something like that. Yeah.
And so we just, if people want to come out, go the other direction. That's where things are happening. The Valley is definitely the place to be. So.
And Settlers Bay, the views from there, the mountains are unreal. It's just
you can't
beautiful.
beat it.
It's a beautiful space. Have you guys won any awards? Like, has Chef Nate
We
since he's
did.
come on? Yeah.
Chef Nate just got the Chef of the Year award this year, which is crazy, and kudos to him.
Chef of the Year for Alaska?
Chef of the Year for Alaska, yeah.
Wow.
With Alaska Char, which is
What's CHAR stand for?
Char is, I was on the board for a couple of years. It's a cabaret, hotels, restaurant, and retail. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Association.
Really good.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, because cabaret is the
The
one.
cabaret is just like throws people off.
It does. We're
It's not even a word used anymore very often.
but we have it. So
That's in Alaska, like the chef of the chef of the year is
Chef of the Year is
at
in-
Settlers
at
Bay.
Settlers.
Yeah, in Wasilla.
Yep, and he does a great job. Does a lot of. He's very patient, hands-on with the staff. Runs a really tight, clean kitchen, and is very focused on training and promoting within. He works a lot with. He's on the Pro Start board. Works a lot with the Matsu Technical, the high school folks out there. Does some judging and teaching with them. So he's not just at Settlers doing the day-to-day. He's also out in the community. He did some stuff at the fair this year. Won some stuff at the fair at a seafood competition. Okay. I think he won the steak competition actually. The seafood I think went to somebody else. Okay. But. So yeah, he's well deserved. I mean, he's been there. It's got to be close to 20 years now, I think, because it was 15 years, I think.
So he's seen a few owners or a couple owners at least, right?
He was hired, I believe, as a line cook, prep cook maybe, with Sony and Hans, and then, kind of like a lot of us, just came up through the ranks and leveled up and. Is a staple of the team there.
Yeah, where do you get employees from? Like, I know that's a big thing for businesses nowadays. Is like, where do I get qualified staff from? Is there like programs that you guys seek out? Is King Career Center someplace, or the culinary program at the university?
Yeah.
Like, where do you find good staff? And if there's a secret that you don't want to tell, feel free to not share, so that you guys can continue to.
No, it's not. We've had some amazing.
Because you guys do have amazing staff.
Success.
Yeah.
We have a really good core team, and it's taken a long time to build that. Chef Nate's work with the young students, the high school students. Actually, some of our high school students have turned out to be the best, most enthusiastic employees that we've had. And it's cool to see them grow. We usually start people on salad and dessert because there's no heat and fire over there, so minimal risk.
Yep.
And then if they can handle that and grow from there, people are sort of holding down the line and the main person on the line there.
Yeah, because when I go to the restaurant and people go to the restaurant, I think it's obvious that the food is fantastic and the drinks are super good. Settlers Bay has a full liquor license, and so the food and the drinks are there. The view at both the restaurants are unreal, like making this even a more elevated experience. But I think the thing that sticks out the most to me is like the interactions I have with your staff when I'm there feel so refreshing and
cool.
And I think that's a challenge for most restaurants or any hospitality business to find people who actually give a shit and are willing to create that environment, to understand that they're a big part of one of the biggest parts of the experience people have is and there's that clock that ticks right when somebody sits down, right? Between the time that they sit down and that glass of water comes or the menus come.
People are...
Yeah, it's somehow time like speeds up or slows down.
It multiplies.
Yeah, it's
5 minutes is actually 20 minutes in the guest.
Yeah, so it feels like forever. Right. It's like, what's going on here? So they do a great job of sort of being able to mitigate that and have that balance of sort of like, yeah, I'm helping lots of people, but I'm also here for you and to create this experience. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's more you want to add to that, but how you've kind of crafted your staff to be able to understand their role in the experience of the customer.
I mean, really, and it's probably what you guys focus on too, just based on the interactions I've had with your staff. It's all about the culture, right? And I mean, starting with eliminating people who don't fit, and if they're, they may be a fantastic server, they can guest interaction, but if they're shitty to the backside of the team and they're like, freaking John is, he's such a whatever, it just poisons it. I don't care how, and so.
Yeah, I don't give a shit how good you are at your job. If you're not able to interact with people, you're out.
Right. And, we focus on our staff as much as we do on the guests. From a management standpoint, our job is to take care of the staff, and my job is to take care of the managers. And so if we can do that and meet their needs, they're going to be able to meet the guest needs. And we don't treat them as, try not to treat them as numbers of, okay, I have server 1, 2, and 3 on tonight, and their sections 4, 5, and 7, and they're punching numbers. It's the experience, the legacy. We talk a lot about the legacy. Both properties have been staples of the community. So telling that story and them getting the buy-in to that it's something. I think as humans, we need to connect with something bigger than ourselves, for most people, right? The mission is beyond filling that drink glass, I mean, you spend a lot of time out there. I'm sure you have memories with your family.
100%.
And can talk to other people that have, there's life events happen there. There's weddings.
People propose to each other. Yeah, first dates.
Right. Celebration of life.
Yeah, exactly.
The full
the planning of children.
Right.
A lot of
sometimes children
pregnancy
get
last
made
meals.
There.
Children get made there.
I've heard stories of people sneaking down to the banquet bar.
Oh shoot!
Some guests have told me.
Good. Get in a room.
I know.
You guys.
Yeah. There's some. I've had some guests tell me some funny stories. Not when we were there, but like when Sony and Hans were there.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, our name's carved on this pillar downstairs, and I went and looked. I'm like, sure enough, freaking, John and Sally's name is carved down there.
Yeah. Well, that restaurant's been there. When was it built? When was Settlers Bay built?
78. 78 is when it was completed.
Yeah. So it's freaking 47. 47 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got a lot of history. It's definitely a pillar of that community, and I can't imagine how big of an undertaking that was. Like, because a restaurant, like having a restaurant, just the kitchen and the dining room area is one thing, but you guys have the basement area, the downstairs, you got the upstairs rooms, you got the deck area. It's just like a huge
It's
space.
a lot of moving parts. So. It's the only difference between that and like a full service hotel is the absence of the rooms.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of moving parts.
Yep.
And a lot of changing just with each of the seasons, a lot of different things going on. And so Sony and Hans were very hands-on. He was the accountant, also the wine connoisseur, schmoozing the guests. Gotcha. Sony was the kitchen person, had all the recipes, and cracked the whip. And they did it successfully for a long time and made a bunch of money. And when we took over, I think all of our servers were lead servers, according to them. Not one manager.
No managers.
No managers.
All lead servers.
They were all lead servers. So it was good. I had lots of opinions.
Yeah.
But man, I remember after that first summer, I was like, I am never doing this again. I'm like, this was like, I'm getting this. It was I had no manager, no front house manager. Nate was stepping into his role out of, sort of being under the, Sony had a strong personality and did things her way. So it,
didn't leave a lot of autonomy for him.
Nate.
Yeah.
So he was able to grow into that role, figuring out that meant, figuring out what the heck Josh wants, and all these changes that Josh is making, and the new ownership, and just a lot of moving parts. And we made it, but I just remember thinking, I'm like, this is one and
can't
done.
continue
I'm good.
like this. Yeah.
And so then we bought Chop House.
Yeah.
Or Best Western, rather, and then created Chop House.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about how that came about and how far after the Settlers acquisition did that come?
We knew that the Best Western was on the market, and we figured it was, it's also another legacy property. It's gorgeous, so we didn't want our competitive nature. We didn't want someone else to buy it, because then we'd be competing with them.
Yeah.
I'd rather compete with ourselves, per se. And
so what restaurant was there before? It
was called the Shoreline.
Okay.
But when we bought it, it had been closed for 15 years.
Oh, okay. So they didn't even have a restaurant in there really to speak of that anyone knew about.
Sony and Hans were the last owners to actually operate that space. And I think Sham, the owner that we bought it from, I think they ran the restaurant for a little bit when he bought it, but his properties don't really do much with food and beverage. He's more just the lodging side of things.
Gotcha.
And so, which works for his business plan. To me, I'm a restaurant guy. I'm like, how do you have this beautiful space?
You're not taking advantage
not
of
do
it.
anything.
Yeah, right.
So, but luckily for us, I think I'm kind of glad that it was closed, because then probably would have cost us a heck of a lot more to buy a full service operating restaurant as well.
That was making money.
Right. So we almost had the deal wrapped up, and then the seller backed out during COVID. March or so, maybe May.
The seller backed out.
Yeah.
What was their thought there? I think they were trying to push it. I think the buyer would be backing out at that point.
Well, it kind of worked out to our favor, because we didn't know COVID or what was.
It was right before.
Yeah, and so obviously taking on a several $1 million note with no one traveling on a hotel would have been challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. So it gave you some negotiating power.
Well, it took another year to get closed, and there was it went through a series of commercial loans and buying big properties like that. There's a lot of moving parts, and so it took a while to come to a deal. There was a lot of moving parts to it, and we almost didn't get the deal done. It took my two partners who are experts at this, and one of our partners who that is their bread and butter is hotels. Yeah. So I think without that group of brain power on that and negotiating and figuring it out, I don't think it would have happened. So it was one of those things where we were like, well, we might walk away and
call it a loss.
Yeah, it is what it is. So luckily, it was like down to the 11th hour, I think, of when we finally closed the deal.
And what, like when you guys were concepting out that restaurant, did you buy it knowing like what you guys were going to put in there, or did it sort of just come as you go? Like how did that process work of sort of like figuring out? Did you do was there market research of like other restaurants and like how can we capitalize on maybe a hole in the market or a gap? How did that look?
I am grateful that my partners trusted me enough to pretty much conceptualize what I wanted to do in there. They, of course, had a lot of input along the way on some design aspects, and there's a ton of money and moving parts involved in that, but by and large, if you like Chop House, that's my concept. If you hate it, it's my concept as well. So,
well, it's the concept is great. Obviously, the the biggest aesthetic is the view of Lake Lucille out in the valley, and the fact that you can drive, you can fly your plane in and land and come to dinner, which is pretty cool. But I think, most people would agree, especially anybody who's eaten there, would say like that's the best restaurant in the valley by far. And I think in Alaska it ranks in the top 3 for me.
Thank you.
So kudos to you on the concept. And gosh, I mean, it's one thing to have like a concept, but actually to like bring it to life is just a totally different beast. I wonder about some of the snags and some of the barriers you had to go through or mistakes you made along the way that you had to overcome in order to get it to where what people see today. Well, obviously, you're talking about the acquisition of it wasn't perfect.
No.
And it took a year longer than you guys even anticipated.
It took longer and ended up, unfortunately, we had to pay a premium over what the first negotiated deal was.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so, but it's a long-term investment, right? I mean, that property value has already gone up,
totally.
For us. And the hotel's doing fantastic.
Yep.
Now that the renovation's done, all brand new rooms, fully renovated.
Yep.
The challenge is, how do you take this space? We have existing walls. We can't really change the exterior walls, right? And we have all these giant beams and windows that would cost many more millions to redo and move, so how do we create a modern, cool restaurant in an old space,
within this shell?
Within this shell. And it's, if you look at it, Chop House is kind of like a big L-shaped, which is also creates some unique challenges in how do you create, because we wanted a lounge, we wanted a really cool bar lounge area, which I think we accomplished.
Yep, super cool.
And you also, because some people, like for me, if I'm traveling, I'm a lounge bar guy. I like to, that's just my vibe.
Just saddle up and order drinks and ask about appetizers and talk to the bartender.
Talk to the bartender, talk to the other guests, just kind of hang out. If I'm with a group of friends or, if I ever go on a date or something, once in a while.
We'll get into that later.
You sit in the restaurant, right?
And in the dining room.
The dining room, right? It's so the dining room experience has to be that first class. What people want to expect, because a lot of people coming in there, they don't want that bar lounge feeling, So how do you create that with an open floor plan? I guess is where I was going. And how does everybody get to enjoy the view?
Yeah.
So there was. Certainly some challenges. I will say, don't ever hire an out-of-state architect team.
Big mistake. Somebody who understands.
Yeah,
Alaska.
Alaska, and we were led to believe that these guys had some F&B experience, food and beverage. Which it turns out, I think they were more hotel. Continental breakfast, F&B,
gotcha.
Not a full concept restaurant. So, talking to the architects when we were trying to do the layout and trying to describe to them what this equipment does was I'm like, oh my gosh.
You guys don't know what you're talking about. They don't know.
It was super,
Did you end up firing them?
We got to a point to where it was this is your, they completed enough to start the project, and then it basically became a design build. I mean, I can remember spending days on my knees with the plumber and the contractor laying out plumbing lines and marking and outlets, and in there going, okay, this wall needs to be here, and
so you ended up doing most of the design build work during the build.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the contractor, H5, they didn't have who did a fantastic job. They can't blame them for trying to scratch their heads and get frustrated too, because they didn't have complete drawings.
They needed the drawings.
And so it was, So hindsight, right? I mean, I knew along the way I got to learn a lot about doing a project of that scope and being so heavily involved on the actual execution of it. So I learned a lot. I also learned a lot of what I wouldn't do again.
Yeah.
Maybe more of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's usually the case, right? We always just focus on like the shit that went wrong. Feels like the whole world's coming apart when one thing goes wrong, right?
Well, it's like one of those things too. It's I mean, I look in Chop House and I'm like, look around, you're like, oh,
yeah, that wasn't supposed to be
people,
like that. Nobody knows.
No one knows.
Yeah, no one knows.
Yeah, it's just me.
Yeah, it's interesting because you gave me a book, personally signed, by the way, which was such a cool touch with a little note in it called Unreasonable Hospitality. And in that book, it talks about the way Madison, what was it?
11
Madison Park, the restaurant that the author owned or was managing at the time, how they basically created pathways for servers and hand signals because they had a big restaurant as well. And I think about, as you're talking, that story he tells in there, how they figured out how to come up with what kind of water people had by doing little hand signals. Do you guys have any of that stuff you do, or have you incorporated any of those things?
So we haven't got to the hand signals yet, but it is something that we've talked about to some degree. We just haven't dialed it in. So we got the opportunity to go to the first ever hospitality summit that Will and his team put on in
the
Nashville.
Author of the book. Yeah.
Was it May? Yeah. So in May in Nashville, they did.
This year?
This year.
Oh, wow.
There was 300 seats available, and it said it was going on sale at a certain time, and I just had a gut feeling that they were going to go quick.
Oh, yeah.
And so I bought 5 tickets, myself and 4 other managers, 2 from each restaurant, got to go, and they were sold out like within 15 minutes.
How much were they charging?
I want to say it was
$300 to $500 or something.
Oh, it was like $2,000
per person.
Per person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. They priced it right then.
They priced it right.
Yeah.
I think it was like $2,000 a person. Yeah, it was $2,000 a person.
Wow.
If you bought 5 tickets, I think, or something like that, there was a reduced.
Got it.
It was like $2,500, but I mean, it was at the Four Seasons.
It's fancy.
Had to go there.
The restaurant was probably unbelievable. Did you eat at the restaurant there?
I didn't eat at the Four Seasons restaurant.
Because he talks about the Four Seasons and his dinner with his dad and how that kind of inspired him.
And I think he's based in Nashville too.
Oh, okay.
Which I think that was part of the reason. But I mean, Four Seasons, they did all the catering. I mean, they knocked it out of the park. They did a fantastic job.
That's high-end living right there.
It was like, I wish I had a little more time just to lay in bed. Because those Four Seasons,
the most comfortable bed.
Oh my gosh!
Well, the pillows too. They buy. They do all the research and all the testing. And dude, a comfortable bed at a hotel is like worth its weight in gold, man. And
just the service in the rooms, like it was one of those experiences where I'm like, okay, this is how the other half do it.
Yeah,
I need to keep grinding so I can just swipe the card and go to Four Seasons whenever I want.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was cool.
And was it worthwhile? Did you guys get anything out of it in terms of just like your manager coming back inspired, fired up with more tools, more knowledge?
Yeah, it was cool. Just like super service level of getting, I brought my sous chef, and he hasn't had the opportunity to travel and see other sort of that high-end type service.
Oh, perfect.
And expose him to that. We ate out at some cool restaurants in
I'm sure he's read the book, though. I mean...
he said he did.
Because the way that book is written, like I feel like I'm experiencing it. It's such a great, well-written book with stories mostly, which is
and it's an easy read. It's fun.
Easy read. Yeah. And so listening to his stories, it's like, oh, yeah. That's like the ideas and some of the concepts he talks about in there and these New York restaurants have. You're just like, oh man, that's next level.
Right.
like the conversation. I don't know if this was from the book or something else I read, but I remember hearing about a conversation overheard by a server about one of the guests not being able to try a hot dog.
Yep.
So that server secretly went out to the hot dog vendor that's out front and cut up the hot dog and made it all fancy and served it to the people and brought that kind of surprisingly to the table, and it just blew the customer away in terms of service. And
that's, that I think is sort of like encapsulates his philosophy, right? Like, there's a difference between hospitality and service, and that's something that we're able to really embed into our culture. And the team it takes a while to change the culture. Not that we didn't have that, but I think we've really been able to elevate that since then. I mean, if you were to go to a restaurant, I mean, I'm sure you've had some fine, fabulous food, and can you remember all that, or would you remember like, hey, they knew my wife's favorite dessert from her childhood, something, and they presented like that kind of
that level.
That's what you're going to remember.
100%. Yeah.
So how can what we struggle with, because it is challenging. It's a challenge that we try to elevate our game. Is like, how can we create that to our guests? I know we can't do it to all of them, but we have an opportunity to do it often. And so we talk about, one thing that they talked about throughout that conference was being present.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're listening. And like, they talked about how all the servers, even the managers, but like, if I heard you were sitting down at your table and I passed by and I heard, next month is our 15th anniversary, and we, got married in Italy, and oh my gosh, do you remember that dessert we had? I don't know why I'm on desserts today, but they'd run over to the computer, put it in, table 14, guest notes, got married, their anniversaries, this, and so then just capturing that information allows you to really, level up, right?
Yeah, and elevate somebody's experience and make it memorable. Like you're saying, like the food is one thing, but the experience is so much more than just the food and the drink. And I think in Alaska it's tough, right? Because there's not a lot of, New York City is like the mecca for this kind of stuff. So I think it's hard to explain to people because it's just not anywhere here that I can really think of. Crow's Nest does an okay job. I don't know if you've been there. They do a pretty good job of just, the real fine dining, the views there, and the really knowledgeable staff about whatever wines and the dishes, and they're explaining it and making it sound delicious. But yeah, some of the stuff he talks about in that book, you're just like, that is totally like out of this world. It's crazy, like great, experience type stuff that you're just not going to get anywhere.
It's the level of commitment too. I think he said at that conference, I don't know if he said it in the book, but he really big on the pre-shift. And so he talked about how meeting. It was like a crazy amount, like maybe 10 years or something, that he did not miss a lunch or dinner pre-shift. And he was there I'm like, holy, dude,
that's dedication.
That's dedication, and that's a lot of energy, because I know how many different freaking balls you got to juggle to do all these other things, and then to daily go, okay,
now I got to sit down.
What am I going to bring to the staff today?
Yeah. One thing that stuck with me too, which was people driven, was he really paid attention to where people's passions were. He used the example of like they used to just have the wine guy buy the beer and buy the coffee, and they would be like, do all the drinks. But he had guys on staff that were really passionate about coffee and had backgrounds in coffee. So he took those guys and made them the coffee people. So they made.
I love that.
They elevated the coffee experience. They had a beer guy that was super into beers and really knew a lot about all the microbrews. They made him the beer guy, and they just used the wine guy obviously for wine. And they had a tea person, I think, too, in there, which was such a cool example of paying attention to people's passions. And he got the idea because he went to a really fine restaurant and he had a great experience, except for the coffee at the end was just a typical cup of coffee, which when everything else is elevated, that's where you can make the difference. So I thought, just the his whole insights on taking care of people, making sure people feel heard, and also leaning into what they're good at and what they're passionate about, I think was a really great message. And they'll take care of your guests to the nth degree if they're feeling taken care of. So I think that's a really important. We didn't talk about your 18 holes for hope. Can you just talk a little bit about that before we get going here, just to give the people a sense? I know you're going to do it next year. Our team participated this year, which if you haven't watched the video, it's hilarious.
Yes.
And it shows a lot of the fun stuff that can be had at this tournament. It's also a great fundraiser. So maybe just, talk a little bit about that.
So we just, this last year was our 5th year. When we bought Settlers Bay, we were being so close to the golf course. I've played in a lot of tournaments over my golf career. I'm sure you have some fun, some
lame,
awful.
Yeah, lame.
Lame. And so often there too many cheats and everything. There's not enough golf tournaments for like golfers. I mean, this is not like a super competitive, but we kind of, I wanted to make it a tournament for professionals like us to enjoy, so.
Yeah.
And then also we started partnering with My House out in the valley there, who is, they do a ton for homeless youth, job training, job placement, housing, and Michelle Overstreet and does a fantastic job. She's the founder, executive director of My House. They're building in the middle of building the Carson Cottle building, which will be, I want to say 50 rooms that'll be available for the clients, as well as some retail space, a kitchen that will be space for the clients to be able to kind of move into, and training in there and everything, and an auditorium. I think it's going to be like 200 people.
Yeah. How much money did you guys raise this last year?
It was, each year we've done over $50,000. Oh, wow. And it's, when you add that up, you're like, wow, that's 5 years, $50,000 a pop is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a lot. Yeah. It's a great cause. Do you have a date already set that you want to mention?
The 18th of July, I want to say.
Yeah.
It's a Friday. It's always on a Friday. I think it's the 18th of July. And be the 6th annual, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, we'll be there next year for sure. And there's a couple other things going on. There's the Chop House is having our
4th annual New Year's Eve party.
Yes.
So ring in 2026. DJ, full buffet of oysters, and last year we did lobster. We did beef Wellington last year, carved. Lots of fun.
It's $150 a person?
125.
That seems so cheap.
It's a pretty good deal.
That's a good deal. Yeah.
Gives people an opportunity to dress up. We have room rates. I think they're doing $100 a room for the room night for that night at the hotel, so you don't have to drive.
Heck yeah.
Fireworks.
Great date night for mom and dad, or
it's fun. Yeah,
just
we have
couples coming out. Is 21 and up?
21 and up.
Yeah.
So 21 and up, but it's fun for people. We've had folks, that I wouldn't have expected to be there having fun,
Heck yeah.
My grandparents' age, and
hell yeah.
all the way down to, so it's a lot of fun and a good reason to dress up, and we have the photo booth, and
it sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out there for sure.
Cool.
I did have the last question that I did have on my rapid fire. Chef or hospitality figure, or any figure that you would choose to have to play a round of golf for 18 holes of Hope with?
Ooh.
Anybody, if you could choose. Would it be
Anthony Bourdain?
Would it be Anthony Bourdain? All right.
I think that comes to mind. I think he would be. I don't think he's probably a very good golfer, but I feel like he could tell a lot of stories.
He would have so many stories.
Yeah, he's kind of one of my early heroes of reading his books, and his experience early on in the kitchen and everything. It just resonated. Yeah, and R.I.P. Totally. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, Josh,
Thank you.
It was awesome, man.
That was fun, dude.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming by and
Yeah.
and meeting with us and chatting.